Welcome everybody to another faith-free family moment. It's great to be with you again. We began yesterday talking about some issues that you might be facing during this time. Some of the restrictions and safer at home order and all that surrounds social distancing, and one of the main ones is stress. And so we kind of talked a little bit about what stress is and some of the impact it has. And I'd like to read to you from Psalm 46, if you'll allow me. What a great psalm, and I just encourage you to read through it yourself, meditate on it. The psalmist writes, "God is our refuge and strength. He's a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear. Though the earth should change, and though the mountains slip into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains quake at its swelling pride, there is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy dwelling places of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She will not be moved. God will help her when morning dawns. And the nations made an uproar. The kingdoms tottered. He raised his voice. The earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob, he is our stronghold. Come, behold the works of the Lord, who has wrought desolations in the earth. He makes wars to cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and cuts the spear in two. He burns the chariots with fire. Cease striving and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our stronghold." There is so much rich truth in there. There's so much that really helps you and I as we face stress. The psalmist had large-scale life units, you could say. As Dr. Holmes and Rahe, University of Washington, point out, that the people face many life changes. And a life change, example, there's 100 life change units for death. They say there's 75 for divorce, 12 for Christmas, and a host of other things. And they say anyone who has an accumulation of 200 more life units in a year is in serious danger of really having a breakdown. And so the psalmist knew what life change units were. He had plenty of exposure to shattering experiences. He knew of the pressures. And I'm sure he felt as though the rock under his foot was moving at times, like the psalm seems to allude to. Think about the Apostle Paul, 2 Corinthians 6. He knew stress. Matter of fact, he defines his stress in terms of he's been hard pressed on every side. And you could write in your margin, stress. He knew affliction. He said, "I was in prison." He said, "I was distressed." Yeah, he faced stress. No doubt about it. I've came across a stress diet that I thought maybe you would appreciate. I don't know if you want to try this or not, but I should say, you're overloaded with stress. I should say the diet I'll take care of later. But you're overloaded with stress when you start talking to your plants for advice. You ordered crushed Tagamet on your frozen yogurt. Maybe you've chewed all your fingernails and now you're going to start on your spouse's. That's when you know you're stressed, right? You know you're stressed and you have a stress overload when you develop a twitch to go with your other four. You wake up at 3 a.m. and you start working on your income taxes in August. Your dog posts a sign that says, "Beware of human." That's when you know you're on stress overload. Or you have an attack of road rage. You haven't even left your driveway. That's when you know you're on stress overload. And I don't know, though, it seems some of the times the greatest hurdles in life are the ones we're most likely to meet successfully, but only if we don't let the stress get the better side of us, the better half of us. We can turn that stress into a time of victory. And when stress comes with finality of, as the psalmist says in verse 2, of an earthquake, with waters roaring in verse 3, and mountains quaking, how do we cope? How do we cope with stress? Stress seems to come from all sides. It's not always the same. It's not always the amount or even the weight of responsibilities that debilitate and defeat our spirits. Often, I think it's the little ones. It's all the little time we have to accomplish anything we feel we should. It's all the little things that begin to pile up that stress us. Consider Jesus. Matthew 11, 28 through 30. I'd like to close with this passage to leave you chewing on this. Jesus says, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, my burden's light." What a great promise. Come to Jesus today, and you'll find great rest and great peace, even in the midst of great times of stress. God bless everybody. Rest in Jesus today.